because I don't know if we're actually live or if we're not live.
Yeah.
Normally, I just look like a fool by myself, but now I actually have a guest on to share in the discomfort. I think we're live. We'll just say we're live. Yeah, we have some viewers already tuned in. I think there's a lag on Twitch and Facebook, but whatever this icon is, we got a lot of a lot of live viewers on. So shout out to all of you. What's going down? This is the Music Entrepreneur Club, powered by BeatStars Live. My name is DJ Payne One. I'm joined by a great producer, and someone who's really built an impressive following and brand for himself, BubbaGotBeatz. So before I introduce him, and we have an amazing conversation about his process, and you're able to ask questions live as well. So, keep that in mind, and let's make this as interactive as possible. I do want to let everyone know, in case you don't know, the BeatStars Summit is coming for a second time, August 5th through August 7th. Sign up at beatstars.world/summit, beatstars.world/summit. RSVP, reserve a slot, even though it is free. We just want everyone to reserve slots. So it's going to be a 3-day summit, completely free. You don't have to leave the house. You don't have to even wear a mask if you're at home. So hope to see you there. But we are fortunate to be joined by someone who has a lot of insight for us. I think this is our third live conversation that we've had, right?
Yeah. Third one.
Okay, so you're in a new house. It's a new year. You got new challenges. And how's life? Everything good?
Yeah, life is great, man. How about yourself?
Yeah. I mean, everything is on the up. And the funny thing is too, we're not, like 17-year-olds either doing this.
Right.
So for us to, I think it's important for us to have this conversation and to point that out, because a lot of people think that this is something that you have to just be, like a kid to get into, and it's definitely not the case. Everything is upward trending for me, as I assume it is for you as well.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the changes. I know the very first time we spoke, you said you would not quit your job to pursue music full time, and then the second time we spoke, you had quit your job to pursue music full time. How long has it been since you've been completely self-employed?
Yeah, I quit. It was August 2018, so it's been coming up on 2 years now.
Okay, so it's about to be your 2-year anniversary.
Right.
Do you have any regrets about that decision?
Nah, none at all.
Okay, that's good to hear. Because we have, I think on Twitter and the YouTube comments, and I see this all the time from producers who are really, really, really frustrated about. Apparently there's an echo, so
Yeah, it's a little
I'm gonna put my headphones on. So I hear this level of frustration from a lot of producers who they've been doing it for a little while, and I recently sent out a tweet just being honest. I mean, I think some producers have success right away. Not everyone's going to be a KBZ, not everyone's going to be a Nick Mira, but their music obviously speaks for itself, as does their work ethic. I think a lot of people just need to focus. I mean, I wasn't focused when I was their age on
right.
specifically making music my career. I think it was a different time, not to make an excuse for myself. But regardless, it took me some time. So I was very honest, and I said it took me 10 years from when I made my first beat to get my first placement. You know what I mean? And then beyond that, it took me to getting on BeatStars and really trying to focus on building online licensing business. That took me another at least 2 years, where it seemed like things were going well, and then 3 years to really get established. So what was your timeline like, as far as from starting to make beats to when it really started paying off and feeling like it could be a career?
Yeah, mine was a bit similar. I think I made my first beat in like seventh grade. I'm 32 right now, so I made my first beat in like seventh grade, but I never had any aspirations of being a producer or anything like that. I just loved music and wanted to play instruments. So I made that in by middle school, and 2016 is when the difference is when I went online is I did everything at once. Like I put up the beat store, I got the YouTube, the Instagram, I did everything like all at one time. But prior to that, I was studying and learning music theory, and I went to school for 2 years for music production. So a lot of time working on my craft before I put it out.
What school did you go to?
Full Sail.
Oh, damn it, man! And then I just again, I people freak out because they think I'm wearing like brightly colored nail polish by choice. My surrogate daughter did that. I let her do
Yeah,
one nail, and then like the other one, I'm like, I don't. Do you have kids, right?
yeah, I have a daughter.
Has she ever painted your nails?
Nah, she didn't pay my nails. So.
I was looking for some help here, but never mind.
Hey, I was
This is
gonna
day
pretend like I
three.
didn't see it.
You said what?
I said I was gonna pretend like I didn't see it.
I think most people would have assumed that I would have painted my nails like dark gray or some dark color if that were my choice. But all right, let's move on from that. You also said that you studied a lot, and that was studying the whole like online space and marketing. What kind of resources did you really focus on when you got to that point where you were ready to pull the trigger on that?
Well, I started with because I didn't know where to start, so I just signed up for school, and they kind of like guided me on what I needed to be learning, and then from there, then I jumped into the YouTube and started looking at every single tutorial out there, just like a lot of us producers do. And then uh, at that time, I chose the merge from FL Studio to Machine. At that point, I found my workflow, and I just been sticking with it.
Yeah, you still stuck with machine, and I know you love using piano. What's your favorite VST?
Contact the gentleman.
Contact the Gentleman, and that's a piano VST. And then you also said you were taking all kinds of classes, and I don't know if you were alluding to piano lessons, but I know you did take piano lessons for a while. Are you still enrolled in those?
No, I took piano lessons for 6 months, and I stopped before I talked to you the first time. So
Okay, so that was a while ago then.
yeah, it was a while ago.
Do you ever do like online lessons, online piano tutorials, or anything to kind of brush up or learn new chord
Yeah, I
progressions?
own a couple courses from what's the name of it? I have it here. It's this piano guy from YouTube, and he have a lot of courses on his website, and they pretty good.
Yeah, because I noticed I went. I have to do my research, so I went back and listened to some of your more recent beats, and it definitely felt like the natural evolution from a year ago.
Right.
But it's obviously still your sound. You haven't switched that up. I want to talk about that in a little while, but since what 2 years ago when you quit your job to make beats full
Right.
time, I mean things look like they're going well. You've exceeded by quite a few 300,000 YouTube subscribers. And it looks like you're releasing beats every week and still getting tons of good feedback. It seems like your base of supporters and listeners is still really strong and really
Right.
engaged. So, what kind of schedule do you put yourself on as far as uploading beats, as far as letting people know that the beats are available?
Well, I pretty much just upload on Sundays because Sundays seem like the day that everyone's home, usually
Mm.
around. Because I always like for the engagement to be high when I first post it. Because if the engagement is not high when I post it, it won't get that high. It's like YouTube algorithm helps you out when you get more views from the beginning. So usually I'll do Sundays, and I'm not even so strict on that these days.
Did you figure that out just by experimenting with your upload times?
Yes, by doing that. And at one point in time, I was just doing one every day and every day, and YouTube don't like that. They'll stop you from getting views. Period.
If you upload every day, you're saying?
Yes.
Damn, I've been uploading every day. Maybe I should
Yep.
stop that.
Yep. They'll stop you, and especially if it's like you're crossing over in between that 24 hour, but they will stop your views.
Yeah, I've definitely never mm, purposely done the two in one day. Um, we have an interesting question. Does anyone know how old Banksy, the anonymous painter, is? I don't. Do you?
I don't know who that is.
That's a weird question. Oh boy. All right. So I would call you the first producers to go viral. I mean, now we have a lot of challenges out there, and we have a lot of viral producers. Whether it's kind of the producers that have done the memes, like the yodeling kid, the remakes, or like the you about to lose your job meme, which was great. And I believe both of them were BeatStars members.
Mhm.
And then, of course, we have the Renegade Challenge, which is the biggest challenge on the TikTok platform.
Right.
The challenge that you're known for is the 10 Toes Challenge, and that's something that I think transcended platforms. I mean, it was big on Facebook, it was big on Twitter, it was big on YouTube, it was big everywhere. And to this day, people are still doing that challenge, and they still remember that challenge. You've had some time, some years to reflect on the success of 10 Toes Challenge. What would you say that it was about that beat and the challenge that made it so successful now, so many years later?
Honestly, it had a lot to do with the beat. At first, I thought it was how I got it out there, or the the people that rapped on it. But after doing multiple ones after that one, and none seeing as nearly as the success as that one, it's obviously the beat. Like for some reason.
What do you think it was about the beat? Did you ever just sit down and think, or did you ever talk to rappers that
Yeah,
use it?
it's it's the little voices. People love those voices. Like if you can put those voices with progressions, like people just love them. Like every time I ever use voices, like any type of voices in the background of my beats, if people just love those.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like that particular beat, because what instruments it had, obviously it had drums,
Mm-hmm.
but aside from drums, it had the little vocal samples,
Mm-hmm.
it had piano, and it had bass. Did it have much else?
Drums and a progression and a melody, a continuous melody.
Yeah, so you kept it really. I guess here's my question to you: what made you stop at that? Because obviously that was the perfect mix at that point.
Mhm.
But a lot of producers, I think, would probably keep wanting to add more and more and more and really complicate the track. And then I think if you had added any more instruments to the Ten
Mhm.
Toes beat, it probably would not be what it is.
Yeah, I actually stopped before that. I did. There was no 808 in it, and I don't believe there was a hi hat in there before either. And I loved it, but I couldn't find any 808 that matched it. And any
Mm.
808 I put in there kind of changed the vibe. So I kind of just like forgot about the beat and like came back to it like 3 weeks later. And when I came back to it, I played an 808 that just sounded perfect to it, and I put that on there. But I had stopped.
So my bad. Go ahead.
But I stopped a long time from that because my beats are basically based off of chord progression and melody. Like that's it. There's no whole bunch of stuff. It's just chord progression and melody. And sometimes the melody may consist of three different instruments, but it's always chord progression, melody, and then drums. Nothing else.
Do you start with the melody or do you start with a chord progression, or do you start with the drums usually when you make a beat?
Yeah, I start with the chords usually, but sometimes I'll like sing stuff in my head and put it on the voice recorder. And when I start with something like that, then I'll start with the melody. But usually the chords.
Got it. Um, Let me see. I think there. Oh yeah, the question is, can we play the Ten Toes beat? The answer is no, because we'll get demonetized. Um, we'll talk about that. Actually, Yeah, let's talk about that now. So, to those who aren't aware, the Ten Toes Challenge was a beat that you made several years ago and marketed it, and it went viral. I don't know how many millions of views just the beat video got, but I guess quickly tell me the history of that. I know we've talked about this a couple times before, but some people might not be aware of how everything transpired. So from the very beginning, when you uploaded the beat to
Mhm.
when it went viral, what's kind of like the shortened version of that?
Yeah, so when Ten Toes went viral, it was when the challenges were a thing, and really they haven't even fully have became a thing yet, especially not on like other artists' songs, which became very popular. So when I first posted the beat, I posted that beat and several other beats, and I did some Facebook advertisement with no followers on Facebook, and in that beat, and I had already had the intentions of doing a challenge. So I did a post that said, should I do a challenge something like the So Gone challenge? Because the So Gone challenge had just got popular, and then everyone commented and it was like, yes, do it with the Ten Toes beat, do the Ten Toes beat, and then long story short, a kid did it, and he went viral, and he hashtag Ten Toes challenge, and it kind of sent it spiraling.
So what did you do after he hashtagged it? So it sounds to me like you didn't actually decide to do all that. It just kind of happened. Like the people decided, and so everything was organic, at least as far as the
Well,
foundation of it
I
was
mean, it was a
concerned.
couple of plays. I had to reach out to him and ask him to, because he didn't initially have the hashtag in there. He just posted it, and I reached out to him and asked him if he could add the hashtag to it, and then I changed the video on my pit 10 toes challenge and was like tag an artist that would kill this beat and have them tag me, and then I just put like a bunch of money in behind it, just like just boosting, not any specific targeting ads.
When you say a bunch, what are we talking about?
I spent probably about 3 grand on that 10 toes ad, but in the end, $10-$20. But when I began to make money off of it, I put money back into it. So I think I ended about 3 grand in that.
So you got a good return on that 3,000.
Oh yeah, for sure. I made over a hundred grand from 10 toes alone just from one source.
Which is
One
crazy
source has
because
my main publisher, which is Sony.
so that is it's crazy to hear you say you made six figures off of one beat when you know people I think a lot of the times think the only way to make money off of beats is by selling them or at least that kind of money by selling them to a major artist
Right.
and having that song go crazy because I'll tell you in all honesty I've done songs on albums that have charted you know top 10 top 5 top 3.
Mhm.
I did not make six figures off those records. So th- thanks for being honest about that. And that 10 toes challenge beat got you a lot of attention from the industry and kind of threw you in the mix of the music business
Oh yeah, right.
at a major level. So a lot of producers aren't aware, and I'm always talking about this because this is so important. And your situation really, I think, exemplifies the importance of knowing this. A lot of producers aren't aware of the two copyrights of each beat. So one is the master copyright, which is
Right.
the actual recorded beat, in WAV or MP3 form, and then the other is the composition, aka the publishing, which comprises the notes and the ideas and the chords and everything, but is not the music in the recorded form. Basically, what you could write on sheet music.
Right.
And what happens is because you own those two copyrights, you can sell each one separately, and that actually happened to you with 10 toes. Can you give us a rundown on that? And don't feel like I'm putting pressure on you to make a shortened version of what happened.
Oh no, no problem. So Republic came and they reached out to me when the beat started going viral, and they wanted to purchase the beat from me, and they ended up giving me 15 grand, which I probably could have got more if I didn't really care. I needed that 15 grand, so I took the 15 grand and They the guy at Republic Records knew someone at Sony that was interested in buying the publisher. Because at the time I was getting reached out to by a lot of people for the publishing, but the guy over at Sony seemed the most trustworthy, had seemed to make the more sense because I didn't have a lawyer in at all. So I was pretty much just reading over the stuff myself. So he ended up giving me 10 grand for the beat, and that was just the initial advance. So on the publishing side, I was happy that I only took 10 grand because as soon as the money started rolling, the first check, and I was already getting money back. But if I would have got like 100 grand from him, I wouldn't have received any money until all of that was paid back.
Okay, so it was, in retrospect, it was a good publishing deal that you signed through Sony.
Oh yeah, it was great. I loved it, and it was a 5 year publishing deal as well. So it's coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you're about to get your publishing your composition copyright back, and then
Right.
on top of that, uh, it was just a deal. It was a publishing deal just for that one beat,
Yeah,
right?
it was a single song deal with the wrestler, and it was a single song deal on the publishing for the publishing.
Okay, so just to run it down, you sold the masters to the label Republic Records,
Right.
and you sold the publishing on a 5 year deal with a $10,000 advance to Sony. And have you been getting royalties from the label as well, or just the publishing side?
No, I have been getting some money because I was unaware I was aware, but I didn't know that if I'm the artist on the song. But since this song was also the artist on the song, so there's money I don't understand yet. Really, I know it was Sound Exchange and another source that they called it black box money when they reached out to me. But being that I'm the artist on the beat, there was artist royalties for me as well, which one was through Sound Exchange and another one was through another source. I'm not sure if that's trickled down from the label or if there's still money to be recovered.
Yeah, the sound exchange money would be from non-interactive streams. So yeah, black box royalties. Just so everyone who's watching it is aware, black box royalties are just unclaimed royalties that are sitting there waiting for the creator to claim what they're owed. So yeah, you probably have some money sitting around there. And you know, again, shout out to you for being honest, and Noah T producer seconds that notion by expressing his appreciation for you actually, you know, having a real conversation about the numbers.
For sure.
So it's just I still can't wrap my head around what went down with this deal, because I feel like that was a deal that we're not going to see again. I haven't personally spoken to a producer who made a beat for license online and got
Mhm.
two separate deals with a major label and a major publisher on it. I've just never. I don't know if you've heard of other people doing that.
Well, I haven't really
I
seen
haven't.
another beat that ran like that that wasn't, already on a copyright. I've seen a lot of beats that get like a lot of millions. Like it was running like, I mean, millions of views by the month.
Yeah, I guess it makes me wonder if because a lot of beats go viral, right? Like
Mhm.
we could go on YouTube right now and see, you know, tens of maybe hundreds of beats that all have over 1 million views on them. Some of them have multi-million views, but they never reach that same level of momentum. And they're probably generating lots of money. They're probably generating 10, 20, $30,000 for whoever produced that record, but
I would say
they didn't.
I have at least 7 or 8 beats that have over 1 million. I think one or the other was like 5 million, and it's none of them is the same, and it don't carry your YouTube as much as like the Ten Toes one did. Like, and when you're getting that many views, it also takes your YouTube CPM up, and it increases the views on other videos, but none of them had the effect as that one did. Which that one still
So
is my most viewed video.
so with a with a beat that gets a million views on YouTube, I, so you've had a couple
Yeah, and I
videos
still
get,
own the copyright to them, and they're available for exclusive. So,
and you've leased a lot of copies of those
of course,
beats
yeah,
because it's a
yeah,
million views.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're profitable. I got one that's climbing towards a million, and it's my top selling beat right now. But and I'm still trying to figure out how to duplicate that more and more. You've had a couple instances of that happening. So what? Oh, someone actually knows which beat that. Yep, the Rick Ross one. For you, what insight have you gained after seeing all of these viral beat videos materialize? What do they all have in common, would you say?
Uh, I actually think they all have voices in them. For one thing, they all have some type of little voices over a chord progression, and they were all posted with intentions to be challenges. Because all my beats, I don't post them as challenges, but some of them I posted and put challenges behind it. And I think the majority of those were intended to be challenges. And one of them that's real popular is just it was never named a challenge, but it just has that feel. Like I can't explain it. It's just that suck you in feel.
What's the name of that? I'll play it.
Real feelings, and it shouldn't be copyrighted.
Okay, so we won't get demonetized. Okay, yeah, this is at damn near 6 million views. Let me share my screen and my audio. Hold up. Yeah, so
Yeah, it's just
I
easy
see
to
what
rap
you're
on too.
saying. My bad. Go ahead.
I think it's because it's easy to rap on as well.
So let's talk about the title of this conversation, which is making beats people actually like. Because I think there's a difference between a good beat or even a great beat and a beat that people want to rap on.
Yeah,
And
you're
a
right.
lot of times they're the same, like here's a beat people want to rap on. It's also a great beat. But there are a lot of great beats that people don't want to rap on. That,
Right.
like I as a producer might think, wow, listen to that progression. It's amazing. Listen to that bass line. It's amazing. But compared to another beat that I'm not that isn't as necessarily
Mm-hmm.
complex, musically complex, this beat isn't selling. So
Right.
there's a difference between making a beat that people love and making a beat that you think is amazing from a producer's standpoint. So how do you produce with intention when it comes down to releasing a track that your customers and your supporters who are using the beats, who you're
Mm-hmm.
making the beats for, actually want? Because it seems like you know them really well.
Right. Well, I think it pretty much boils down to my education in music and knowing music theory. Because like when I make beats, I want the beat to sound like it's already singing. And I think in order for you to structured in a musical way, and I think that has definitely helped me. Music theory for sure.
Because I personally think it's really easy to overproduce something and make a super musically complex beat, but that's not necessarily the art of producing. You know, I could throw 5 different key changes in a beat, and no one would want to deal with that one from a recording artist perspective. So for you, it seems like you're focusing on the chord progression, you're focusing on the top line, and so in that track, the top line was that kind of flute instrument.
Right.
And that is that what you mean when you say you kind of try to make it sound like it's singing to you?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a flute is a good instrument, is a good example of a good instrument too, because it's a lot of ways you can make melodies and it'll sound like it's talking, but it will be too much. But a flute is always mostly in the background, no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love flutes like that.
But you also, so when you put in vocal chops, like in the 10 tones beat, you have to be really aware of the pitch that you're using.
Right.
You have to be aware of the panning and all that, because it's a vocal sound. It's the sound of a voice that people are recording their voices over. So it's got to be one of those situations where it's a fragile balance, and you need to make sure that there's space for the rappers or the singers to record their vocals too. So how do you do that?
Right. Some of them are more difficult than others, but the real sauce that I be using is still vocal chops. They have vocal chops 1 and 2, and they have.
Sorry, say that one more time. It cut out.
Studio Link vocal chops. They have 1 and 2, and they have it where you can import it through Contact, or they have it where you can open it as a VST, and their chops is already in the key, which key you're already in.
And so, because you have you went to Full Sail, so you have a background in engineering, at least to some degree, right?
Yes.
So mixing your beats, creating space for the vocals, what are some techniques that you use to make sure that you're not crowding out the frequencies that a rapper would normally occupy once they record their vocals?
Well, first thing, I don't start with any sounds that would need too much tweaking. Like if it don't sound good when I pick it out of the pack, I don't use it. But when I always mix my beats in Pro Tools, I'll export them from a machine and mix them in Pro Tools since I have a better understanding of it. Usually I'll pan my kick and my 808 to the center as mono, and my snaps and my hi-hats. And everything else I'll leave pan to the left and the right. Some things I'll move in just a little bit, but for the most part I just leave everything out to the right, and the kick drums in the center. And then I'll just throw a limiter on there when I'm done. But I don't do much detail. I don't compress or none of that crazy stuff.
What was your favorite limiter? Do you use something that's native to the machine, DAW?
No, it's I think it's from the Waves bundle. It's called Moti something.
Okay,
Moti.
Yeah. Either L1 or L2. I mean, no, actually, maybe it might be L3.
Yeah, it's a couple of them. I just choose one every time. I choose a different one every time.
Got it. So let's talk about how consistent your beats are. So the track that we just listened to was 2 years old, and then 10 Toes Challenge was a little older than that, maybe 4 years old.
Right.
They all have a consistent sound where if I listen to these beats, I'm not ever thinking to myself, oh, okay, Bubba switched it up and did something totally different that I wasn't expecting. Would you say that's part of the reason your supporters are so loyal, your subscribers are so loyal?
Yeah, because I've switched it up a couple times. Like the last beat I posted I switched it up again. But usually when I switch it up, I don't get the results as I would when I give them the piano beats.
I think that's also due to YouTube's algorithm, or just any algorithm, watch time and keywords and everything. If they're not consistent, that just kind of throws a wrench in the whole operation. But you keep your mixes open, you keep your drum sounds pretty straightforward, not in a way where you're trying too much crazy stuff that's going to throw a person's rhythm off. And that combination just seems to make people want to rap. It seems to just make people want to record. So obviously that's all of the musical stuff, but then there's a lot of technical stuff, business stuff, marketing stuff that goes into it as well.
All right.
And you haven't stopped doing the challenges because, like you said, you don't feel that technique, creating challenges for people, is something that's been done very much by. I mean, I don't know too many producers who are doing that.
Yeah, I haven't. I actually haven't done a challenge in like over a year, probably. I just continue to post the beats,
Oh, I
but
thought.
I
See, I
haven't. I
could have
don't think
sworn. Let me
you may
make
have
sure I'm
seen
not crazy.
for real challenge. I think it was like 3 4 months ago, but it didn't really do anything.
There was that, and I could have sworn Contagious Challenge was recent. Yeah, it says Contagious Challenge. Am I crazy? 3 months ago.
I probably named it challenge, and it didn't have the results the next day, and didn't even worry about it.
Got it. So when you market something as a challenge, then it has to pick up organically, or else oh, it's playing in the background, or else you just kind of let it be.
Yeah, I would say it has at least 3 to 4 rappers on Instagram that already has a platform in order for it to budge at all. And I believe the last challenge I had one guy pre-record something before I put it out, and I didn't get anyone else to go ahead and pre-record their challenge. So I take some push from some social media influencers.
Okay, so now we're talking about influencer marketing. So that's an important part of the challenge marketing strategy.
Yeah, but I've never paid anyone to do it. It's just people that love my beats that has a platform. Like with Ten Toes, it was more people with platforms, found my beat because their fans was like, "Hey, do the Ten Toes challenge," and then I would use that by posting it and doing like compilation videos to like get other people to do it.
So for a producer that, I mean, obviously you can talk to a Instagram influencer and say, "Hey, I did the 10 toes challenge." They know who you are,
Right.
and that reputation alone could open a conversation up that maybe someone else couldn't. But as far as influencer marketing goes, for someone who doesn't necessarily have that kind of resume or that level of respect, do you can you think of scenarios where, and I've never done this either, so I have no idea, but can you think of a scenario where paying an Instagram influencer would be a good move for a newer producer?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you do that, I wouldn't even do challenges. I would just kind of act like a rapper. Like if a rapper was to go to one of those pages, you would tell them, "Hey, get in the backseat of a car and kill a beat in the street." So you just giving them good content. So as a producer, I would do the same. Like make a beat on camera that's like good footage in a minute, and then have it shared on these pages. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do the challenge like that because when I was having these influencer pages post stuff, I wasn't. It was my mistake back then too. Is I didn't put my face in front of the challenge, so I would hit them up and be like, "Hey man, this dude's my friend. He killed this. Can you post him to get him some followers?" And that's how I would use them.
Okay, and you think you made a mistake by not putting yourself as the central figure of all of
Yeah, because
that
the
publicity?
challenge was super viral, and I had 200 followers on Instagram. You're doing
That's
it like
crazy because
let people
it's
know
it's
you
like
make
that. We're always talking about numbers. We're obsessed with numbers, numbers this, numbers that, but they don't always translate from one platform to another, and they also don't always represent real success. Because you made six figures off of that with 200 followers.
right. I mean, by the time I was making money, I had the followers then. But I mean, when I first started, I had no followers.
It's just crazy how all that stuff changes, and I don't know. I don't know what's your feeling about numbers and followers and stuff. Does that has that correlated to success, or is it a little more complicated than that?
No, because I mean, I think if I had a lot more, I have 29 on IG right now. But if I had like a lot more, maybe if I was selling some type of product. But really, I don't know. I don't think it's
So let me let's talk more about marketing. BeatStars integrations. Do you use the free download opt-in integration for like an email list?
Yeah, I did it for a while, but my Mailchimp, I maxed out on emails and I haven't paid to upgrade. So, but I was using it for a while.
Oh, so you hit the 2,000 subscribers and just said forget it.
Yeah, I didn't want to pay them yet. But I'm gonna get back on it.
What are some other marketing integrations that you've used, or some other platforms, some marketing platforms that you use regularly for marketing your beats and making sure that people are continuing to hear them?
For the most part, I mean, I was doing the email list for get back on it, which I was doing. I had this thing called Weekly Freebie, and every week I would send the beat that I dropped for the week to everyone on my email list with a link to download it free and untagged. So I did that, but for the most part, I don't really market my beats. I just put them on YouTube, and I email them around for YouTube, and people go and get them on YouTube. You'd be surprised who's out there on YouTube. Like, and all of my placements came from YouTube. So
What are some ways that you incentivize people to subscribe to you on YouTube or follow you on BeatStars? Because I see that both places you're building up a good amount of followers.
with BeatStars, and I do the free download, and you have to follow me on BeatStars instead of Twitter and SoundCloud. Because for some reason, it don't sound like it correlates. Like I'll be getting free downloads, but I won't be getting the followers on Twitter and SoundCloud. So, but
Mm.
ever since I changed it to BeatStars, like when I get the free download, I get the followers on BeatStars. So that's one thing. I don't do anything on YouTube except post, and I'll mess with the tags when I post it. And I like to see at least like 6 or 7 other tags light up when I first post it. And I literally don't do anything else with it.
What tool are you using to monitor those tags?
I use TubeBuddy, but with TubeBuddy or Bid, you still have to do the tags yourself. Like, they're just tools to like see, what I'm saying, what works. But ultimately, I think you have to do the tags.
So what's your process like when you're researching the tags and making sure that a tag is actually viable and one that you want to use?
Well, usually I always know what words I want to use. Like instrumental, I always go for instrumental every single time. And I'll do like these are the last beat I did, a little baby type beat, just to experiment to see if I could rank on it. And I'd put little baby type beat, little baby type beat 2020, and then I'll go in TubeBuddy for suggestions, and then I'll fill it up, and I'll save it, sort, come back to it, remove stuff, and like, and then kind of like work backwards
Mm.
until I get a couple of green lights.
What so TubeBuddy has a because I have TubeBuddy and vidIQ both installed, and I try to compare the two, and
Mhm.
they often give you different results. But with TubeBuddy, their ranking system is based on a percentage. I think actually vidIQ might be the same, but their percentages are always different. What number? Obviously, 100% is a great ranking for a keyword.
Mhm.
What do you find is a safe number for you to actually commit to? Like, if a keyword has 70%, is that good enough for you, or do you want to hit 90? Do you want to hit 80?
I don't look at that. I look at the search percentage by keyword search, which is like the 1 through 10 number you see on there that lights up. I'm not sure if vidIQ has that, but I look at that. I don't look at. I know what you're talking about, like the relevant score is what
Hmm.
you're talking about.
No, just the overall. I'll share my screen because I can kind of. I'll use an example of a video of a beat that I uploaded today, which is doing all right, but compared to your YouTube numbers, my numbers are embarrassing. Hold up. Let's look. Yeah, so here's a beat that I just uploaded a couple hours ago, and when I go, so here's my vidIQ.
What is that number on that thing?
I love when I pause that and it just keeps playing. So if I hit show search rankings, this is my TubeBuddy panel,
Right.
and this is my vidIQ panel. Those numbers are the same. So I'm ranking on all of these tags, but if I were to do keyword research on one of these, it's going to give me an overall score on a keyword. So for this keyword, it tells me that that's 85 out of 100, excellent, which is, for me, it's good.
Mhm.
And obviously the search volume is high, so that's good for me. What kind of numbers are you comfortable with
Yeah,
actually using as a?
I don't look at. I look at. I literally go for by the words that I want, which is usually instrumental or slow instrumentals or stuff of that nature. Because a lot of the type beats is like a lot of competition in there, and I just want to be on the front page of YouTube somewhere. Like if I can get on there when someone type in instrumental, then you know what I'm saying. I'll do that versus
Yeah,
competing for the type beats.
yeah, that's like the biggest thing I tell people, because a lot of people get frustrated. Like I upload beats all the time and nothing's happening, and I'll look and it'll be Drake type beat, Playboy Cardi type beat. I'm like, there's no way you're ranking on these as a small channel. I mean, even a
People
bigger channel.
people are searching free beats to freestyle to, beats that has no copyright like that.
Yeah, it's just endless. Once you jump into that world, the problem is it's kind of boring. So I wonder. Here's a weird question. So your background before you were, well, not before you were, as you were doing beats, when you had a traditional job,
Right,
you were in information technology.
right.
So would you say that your background in information technology made you analytical to the point where you could sit down and do this kind of keyword research and figure out these systems and figure out the algorithm a little better than the average person who had no background?
Yeah, definitely. And mainly because of troubleshooting, because my job, all my jobs consisted of troubleshooting, which is break, slow it down. You know what I'm saying? Break it down one thing at a time, and then scale it up. So
And that's
breaking
basically
it
what
down
you're doing
thing.
with marketing, right?
Yeah, it's breaking down. It's like thinking outside of the box and just you know what I'm saying. Like when I started with the Facebook ads, I thought from a person on Facebook that's scrolling. Like I wanted to think like that, and like how do I capture someone like that? You know what I'm saying? And then I broke it down like
Absolutely, yeah. So someone had a question. We have about 10 minutes left, so please
okay.
feel free to flood the chat with questions. I know a bunch of people were asking questions earlier, but we were having a good conversation. I think someone asked when you came to the realization that the certain style of beats that you made were the best style for you to go with.
Uh, I believe I want making now for a long time. I just didn't know how.
Mm.
And I've always like when I used to make beats in Fruity Loop, I used to hear certain things, but I couldn't do it. And then it's like as soon as I learned music theory and you know how to break things down, it's like I could hum something randomly and play that exact same thing. So that was, but
So
ultimately
you
like the sound that you hear me play is like the sound that I always wanted to sound like.
so you would recommend learning music theory to all producers
Yeah,
out there then?
that's the first thing I would recommend to anyone is music theory because a lot of this stuff is gonna burn dry, and it's like if you know music, I mean, you music.
So here's a question. How long were you uploading beats before you started seeing more traffic coming in to justify that?
Well, with me, as soon as I started uploading, I seen traffic because, like I said, I did everything at once. I started the B stars. I started Facebook, and as soon as my B stars was up and running, I posted the first beat on Facebook and put like $20 behind it, and I instantly started getting people commenting on the beats instantly.
What year was this?
2016, around June and July.
Okay, so it was, and you had been making beats for about 10 years before that.
Yep, I was thinking beats. Yeah, probably longer than that.
Okay. So it was really like the 10, 11, 12 years in the making before you synthesized everything and put it together and just made it all
Right.
one concerted effort, because it was a really it seems like it was a really for you to go and do the Facebook, the YouTube, the BeatStars, the paid advertising, all of that. it seemed like you really did have some kind of plan in mind, even if
Yeah, I
you
did.
didn't have the experience or the foresight to know what was going to happen. It seemed
Mhm.
like you had a plan before you pulled the trigger.
Right. I used to always tell everybody that people used to tell me, man, your beats are so good. And I was like, man, I'm not gonna put my beats out until they're so good till it's like undeniable. And that was my mind frame. And even when I put it out, my cousin was like, he came to me, he was like, man, you don't have confidence in your own beats. I was like, man, your beats are like the best beats I ever heard, man. Put them out. And that was like a week later when I took that step.
That's a good question too, because a lot of people, a lot of producers are in that predicament where they're not sure if their beats are good enough to put out. I mean, some people have confidence and their beats are not great. Some people have no confidence and their beats are amazing. What's your advice to someone who's kind of battling that confidence fight?
Um, you definitely you definitely need people to lean on sometimes. So you need people to be honest with you about your craft. I mean, you got to be honest with yourself first of all, because I feel like I know if I make a bad beat, I think I know if it's bad before anyone hears it. You know what I'm saying? So if you can be honest with yourself, I mean, it goes a long way. And realize what you got to do and take it one.
So here's a question about pricing. This person's question is: should we base pricing on what others are charging?
I would say base your charging off of your work. Like if you feel your work is if worth $50 a lease, or if you feel like you shouldn't be getting that per lease, then charge $20 per lease. Like I would always say, do what you feel. Don't go off of other people's stuff. But I do go to other people's platform and see how they're breaking down each lease and stuff like that to get some educational tips. But I never go off of anything that people sell their beats for. Because someone can hit me today and be like, "Hey man, I don't have money. I have $5, and I'll probably still give it to them anyway."
What kind of bulk deals do you offer, if any, or do you have like periodic holiday sales, flash sales, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of boat deals. I had like the buy one get two and buy two, but I stopped doing those because I have so many collabs on my B stars now that like I'll sell like 9 beats at once, and it'll be like giving me all the money and giving my collab partners none. And tired of dealing with that. So B stars need a system that if we sell 2 beats and one's a collab, that they make sure the collab is the first one, because sometimes it'll be like buy one get one free, and it'll be my beat sold for $50 and the collab giving away for free.
I it's almost like a running joke with some of my collaborators, like with Dream Life, where some days I'll just get like 10 $0 sale notifications from him.
Right.
Sometimes he'll get 10 from me, and it's just at the end of the day, I'm like, it'll probably even out, or I'll probably come out ahead. But it's funny, and it feels like it always happens on the low sales days when I'm sitting there chewing on my fingernails, just staring at my screen, thinking like, oh my god, am I gonna have to sell my kidney? Um, it's funny. I think we already talked about this, but for you, you said the best day for posting is a Sunday, right?
Sunday evening seems like when people are home. Like Friday night, Saturday night, probably a bad idea.
Someone wants to know: do you collect royalties from free beats?
Um, on some, but most of my royalties come from placements, and the only ones that collect from is because my admin, when I first got them, I had made a list of songs that I wanted them to collect for, and I put beats on there, which now I wish I wouldn't have put them there. So
Why do you feel like you wish you hadn't put them on there? Because
just
they're
so I can
taking a
be more
percentage.
organized on BeatStar. My BeatStar has like 80 things on there, and probably beats, and I just want to keep it more organized so I can just see everything.
Got it.
Especially when the beats are
Let's.
different, like 2 cents.
Yeah, and I think that's the like I feel like producers kind of need to be realistic, but it comes from experience. I don't even think it's going to come from reading a book or even having a conversation with us necessarily. It's just going to come from experience. finding a happy medium between knowing too little about the business and knowing way too much about the business, in the sense of a lot of people will be really concerned about collecting royalties on every little thing,
Right.
or they just won't know how to collect royalties, period, or they won't understand anything and they'll get jerked. But then there are the people that are so focused on business, business, business all the time that it actually kind of takes time away from them making music, but it also can sour a relationship if, someone is saying, hey, I just downloaded a free beat, cool, let's sign paperwork, this and that. It's like, a lot of these, most of these royalties, not YouTube royalties, not YouTube, whatever you call it. YouTube comes with a couple different types of royalty streams, but as far as like mechanicals go, as far as performance royalties go, they'll hold those for up to 2 years. So if you don't register the song, it's okay. If the song explodes and is on every radio station tomorrow, it's still okay, because
Right.
those royalties won't even get processed for months. So that's already time for you to sign up and handle it. And even if you wait a year, theoretically they should still be there for you to collect. But
Yep.
I think a lot of us are just, we either don't know anything or we know so much that it makes us neurotic, and it makes us really, really, really nervous about even getting out there. We get yeah, this person came up with a term, analysis paralysis. We're over analyzing the business landscape, and it just paralyzes us. We have another question. Okay, so because you're using the free download in exchange for a
Mhm.
BeatStars follow, have you noticed an increase in sales just by having more BeatStars followers?
Um, I would increase in sales, but it has to be doing something because I don't promote my B stars at all, and I get sales every month, so it has to help because I don't do anything specific to get people on B stars right now.
Here's another question. Shout out to Delio
Good
2K. Was
Dilio 2K is my boy, and he asking about the vocals. Dilio 2K, he actually does my vocals. Some of them live with his voice, so he's very dope. Like some of my dopest beats is his voice with the vocal samples.
I just wish he would bring back. I met him a couple months ago. I wish he would bring back. He was actually one of the first YouTube producer personalities that I ever watched.
Yeah, me as well. I used to follow him and like learn from his channel.
I just thought he was hilarious because he was so sarcastic all the time.
Yeah, Dilio's that dude.
So shout out to him. I just wish he would bring back the auto tune video where he's singing to "Buy You a Drink" and he's making fun of all the people trying to get him to send them BitTorrents and stuff. Anyway, let's answer maybe one more question. Do you hold your stance on your exclusive rights pricing? I tend to settle for less and lower my price in fear of losing a potential sale. So I guess he's asking about flexibility with exclusives.
Yeah, I stand sometimes if it's like someone asking for an old beat, from a year or two ago, and I'm not leasing it anyway. I usually charge 500. I'll charge them 300, or and if there's no collab on it, and I know the person or something, I may do 250, but usually I'll stand on my beat, especially if it's anything newer than like in the last 6 months.
I think that brings up a good question. I want to ask you, and this will be the last question. What is your overall strategy when it comes to customer service? I think that's something that a lot of us aren't prepared for. We think we got to make the best beats, we got to market, we got to take good pictures, we have to get a good logo. But a lot of us aren't prepared for interacting with customers, especially when they have questions, when they're confused.
Mm.
So what how do you approach customer service?
Well, I'm bad at answering DMs sometimes myself, but I've always got off by helping people, and a lot of my customers, like we have some type of communication because I posted them on my page rapping, and like I guess I was pretty involved with a lot of these people that buy beats from me early on. Like when they were posting on Big Bro, can you post this? Like before they were buying beats and stuff like that. So I had a pretty selfless upbringing on social media. Like you go to my social media, you probably see more people than me. Which lately I've been trying to change that, but
Yeah, I've noticed that on your YouTube too. It seems like the people that will record to your beats sometimes, I don't know how selective you are about it, but sometimes you'll repost or re-upload their um, recorded songs to your tracks.
right, right. And usually those people is like people that's been doing my challenges from way back when, and now they're in the studio, and we helping them out if they help me. So,
All right. On that note, I appreciate your time. How can people follow you on Instagram, BeatStars, YouTube, so forth?
and my name is BubbaGotBeatz on everything. You can go to BubbaGotBeatz.com/about to hear my placements and stuff like that. But BubbaGotBeatz on all social media platforms.
Once again, appreciate you for sitting down and sharing your experiences and sharing your expertise and having a really honest conversation. I appreciate that. I think all the people tuned in appreciate that. We'll have to check in with you very shortly. Have a great day. Once again, everybody, BeatStars Summit coming soon. BeatStars.world/summit, August 5th through 7th. RSVP now. It's going to be a free summit, but trust me, you're getting a lot more value than anything. Plus, it's interactive just like this. So think about going to a music conference. How often can you ask questions throughout the session? You really can't. You got to wait till the Q&A at the end. This is a different format. It's a different kind of conference for the present times. Be safe, everyone. Stay healthy. Stay away from people at the grocery store with that cough. And we'll check in with you next time. Dame's live on Monday at 3 p.m. I'll be back next Thursday, same time, same place, right here, BeatStars Live. Appreciate you, Bubba.
All right, appreciate you, man.
I think we're okay. Cool. Oh, I'm still live. Damn.